So this is the arithmetic expression it is throwing.
Mhm.
And see here also you will get a array index out of bound section. But first let's handle this. To handle this, we need a to surround with a try catch block. Try with multi catch blocks, and let me add one by one. See, why I added multiple catch blocks here is, let me explain. See, this is giving a arithmetic exception. So that means this catch block will add arithmetic exception. But here I am entering more than the array size. So then what kind of exception you will get here?
Array index out of bounds exception.
Array index out of. That's why the second catch block will handle that. If this comes, okay, this is solved and you're getting this one now. And then this catch block will execute. Okay, this is also solved and you commented out and you don't want unnecessary catch block. You found your mistake and you entered more than the array size. That's why you found that and you removed this code. Then this will be solved. It won't go here, right? Then it will come here. If one more exception, different exception comes, then this exception class will take care. So that means most specific to most generic you have to write last. Generic class. Generic class is the exception class. That class you have to write to if these two exceptions are not occurring, the other exceptions can be handled using this exception class. So that is the try multi catch blocks. Try multi catch blocks. So now see the rest of the code is executing. Rest of the code will execute. So now exception occurs here, but still this catch block will execute. But still this line of code will execute. Let's see now. Before that code was not executing. Now say it will execute. See, rest of the code. That means it came here, this line, and it came to for each loop. That's why all for each loop values are zeros are printed. It's an integer array, right? Zeros are printed. And this line of code also executed. So that means the rest of the code is executing after adding the try catch blocks only. If you're not adding the try catch blocks, it won't execute. So that is this try catch blocks. Okay. So now see, I'll solve this problem. Okay, I'll solve this. And see now what will happen. First, you are getting arithmetic exception because you are dividing by 0. I'm solving that problem. See now what will happen. See, that issue is solved. Now where it went? Array index out of bounds exception executed. So that means this part. Index 5 out of bounds for length 5. So now this is the one. See, 20th line you are getting an exception because that's wrong. So you correct it. So you should not do that. You know the problem and solve that problem. So I know that now the code is executed. See now, even the exception occurs, code is executing. So that's what the try catch block purpose itself. See now, there is no exception here in the try block and it executed. So no catch block will execute and this one will execute and the rest of the code is executed. So this is one try multi catch blocks. And then we have throw and throws keywords. So throw and throws keywords. So as I mentioned already, private static void validate. So is based on the age, I'm just validating whether this person is eligible to vote or not. If that person is not eligible, I'm just throwing my custom message. I'm just saying this person is not eligible to vote. Else he is eligible to vote. So then I added a here, just see this. See now on the 10th line, you got an exception. You got an error. This is an error, right? This is the error. See, what is that? So it is telling unhandled exception type, interrupted exception. So you can handle this because of that line, you got a compile time error. How can you handle that? You can handle either adding the throws declaration or through surround with the try catch blocks. Surround with the try catch blocks. Any one you can do to solve this 10th line error. So that means compile time error. So either you can do a try catch block or you can declare a throws declaration. So using throws keyword, you can declare that exception, interrupted exception you are getting. So that interrupted exception you need to handle. Unhandled exception you are getting. That means we didn't handle that. So we didn't handle interrupted exception because of this. So when you write this code anywhere, you will get a unhandled exception. You need to handle that. So in order to handle that, I am just going to handle add throws declaration. So where is adding add throws? In the method signature line. Method line itself. Throws followed by interrupted exception. Okay. See this. Now see, for example, your age is less than, right, 18, suppose. So now what will happen this code? This will happen. What will happen? Age is 15 I have given. That means 15 less than 18. Now what will happen?
It is true, so it'll go into the body.
Now what will happen here?
You'll get the message, the throw message will give
Yeah.
arithmetic exception not eligible to vote, or just not eligible to vote, and it'll throw the
Yeah, so you will get
exception
arithmetic
error.
exception. You will get
Mhm.
arithmetic exception, but message.
Mhm,
So
just
arithmetic exception message, what is the default message? Arithmetic exception default message?
divide by 0 error.
Divided by 0, right? But now
Mhm.
what it is going to print is this one, not divided by 0. Okay. How
Mhm.
it is possible? You are overriding that message with a throw keyword. That means you can customize your exception message with a throw keyword. You want to throw your custom message. How is it possible? You can do with a throw keyword. You can do with a throw keyword. So that is what we are doing here. Now, here, why are getting error here again? See, what is the mistake? Again, what it is throwing?
Unhandled exception type, interrupted exception.
Why are getting here? But here, right, this line was throwing a interrupted exception. But why this method is throwing now? Because if any method has a throws declaration, wherever you are calling the method, there also you have to declare that exception. Remember that.
Mhm.
If any method has a throws declaration, wherever you are calling that method calling method inside also you have to use the interrupted exception. You have to declare. See, now I'm going to declare. See, I'm declaring here. So that means main method also. So you need to, because this is the one statement, right? It's a calling, method calling.
Mhm.
But this main method will get a interrupted exception that you are handling with a throws keyword. So that is asking compile time itself, not any other time. Compile time itself it is asked. So that's this how you can handle the throws and throw keyword, how to use it. So any line of code which is asking to declare some exception, you use throws keyword. Throws keyword is in the method signature line, and throw keyword is used. So in the method body, throw is followed by an object. So do that. Now see, you can execute. Say not eligible to vote. That means this part is executed. This part is not executed. Then if you want to execute else part, just change the data, test data, whatever the input you need to give for this method, I'm changing. Now 25 less than 18 false, so it will go here. So we now code will execute. Observe eligible to what, then still code is executing, then stop. Because it waited 2 seconds here. Thread.sleep, what it will do is, it will wait. So how many seconds you give, that many seconds your thread will stop there. It will pause there. 2 seconds, if you give 10 seconds, 10 seconds it will pause there. So thread.sleep means you're asking the thread to wait there that many seconds. Mentioned seconds, you wait there, I am telling. Okay, so that's all about throw and throws keyword, how to use. So try plain code first, okay, for this arithmetic exception. Without try catch block, you try plain code, okay? Then you add the try catch finally blocks. So like this. So don't put anything first. So you add a null. On the null variable, you try to call the method. So then you add the try catch blocks. Then how it is executing, observe that carefully. Same for number format exception also, and this array index out of bounds exception, and so this single try multi catch blocks. So try, because this we are going to use try catch multiple places, because you have to include in your code this try catch blocks. You see wherever you will get an exception, you will come to know. So now you will come to know here, right? Because so this is, if you give a 0 and okay, then immediately include that code in the try block. So wherever you are declaring any variable as any object variable or any variable as a null, make sure that you declare in the try block. So wherever using this variable, that variable you put in the try block. So that tomorrow fails also, you don't need to worry. It will take care. The rest of the code will execute at least. That's the main purpose of this try catch blocks. Okay. So that's all about exception handling. And let's move on to the small topic, how to connect to the database using Java code. How to connect to the database using Java code. So you can connect to the database using Java JDBC API. Java JDBC API. So Java JDBC is a Java API to connect and execute query with the database. So what is the JDBC API will do? It will connect to the database and execute your SQL queries with the database. So JDBC API uses a JDBC drivers to connect with the database. What is the JDBC API will do? So it uses the JDBC drivers and then connect to the database and execute your SQL queries. So that's the why you need to connect to the database and why you want to execute your SQL queries. To get the database data, because data will store in the database only. To get that database data, we'll use a JDBC API in Java. So why you need to use JDBC? So before JDBC, there was a ODBC API. So which is used to connect and execute your SQL queries with the database. But this ODBC driver is designed in C language. That is a platform dependent and also unsecured. So in order to handle that problem, then Java designed a JDBC API. Generally, Java is a platform independent. It doesn't depend on the platform, and also secured programming language. That's why everybody switched to JDBC API to connect and execute your SQL queries with the database. Then what is API? Application Programming Interface. So basically, if it wants to interact with the two different systems, right, to communicate with the two different systems, you will use APIs. So API is nothing but a small business logic, small function. You will tell, okay, go and do this operation on this server. You will tell that you are sending in the API format. So that APIs are used to interact with the two different systems. Like, your payment gateway on the e-commerce websites. So you're buying, for example, you're buying in the Amazon, and you will connect to it, while paying time, it will connect to your bank. So they didn't implement the bank software in their Amazon website. But how it is connecting? Through APIs only. Okay, that we'll discuss in the APIs. And types of drivers. We have a JDBC, ODBC bridge driver, native API driver, network protocol driver, thin driver. These are different drivers are there. So then how can you connect to the database? What are the steps involved? There are 4 steps. First step is, so if anybody asks you, how can you connect to the database using Java code? So you have to tell these 4 steps. So what are the 4 steps? First step is load the driver. So loading the driver, so you have to use this code, class dot for name method. So this is the static method and this is the class dot for name method, and you have to give a driver type. So I'm giving a Oracle database driver. So this is the Oracle database driver, oracle.jdbc.driver.oracle driver. That's a Oracle driver you are giving. Connect to the database. So connection con equal to driver manager dot get connection URL. So username and password. URL, username and password. So that's connecting to the database. So connection con equal to driver manager dot get connection. So URL, username and password. So string URL equal to JDBC :oracle :thin @localhost 1521 ORCL. So this is the second step is once a driver is loaded, the bridge will establish. Then you will connect to the database using connection interface and con equal to driver manager class dot get connection method. So for this get connection method, you have to pass 3 arguments. One is the description URL. This is the description URL. So basically the database details, basically you are going to give where it is installed and what is the port it is running and what is the system identifier. So all these details will be there in this URL. Then username, every database has a username and password to connect to that database. So you have to provide username passwords also. Then third step, with the second step, connection will be established. Third step, you need to create a statement. Okay, on that connection, you create a statement. So for that, you have to use a statement interface, st equal to con dot create statement. Then fetch the results on this statement, execute the result, execute your queries. So result set interface res variable equal to, so statement object dot execute query, and you give your SQL queries. So then from this table, it will fetch the data and stores in this res variable. Now you got the data from the database. So what you want to do, that you have to take a decision. So maybe you can so refine your data how you want, what data you want, you can get from this result set object. So these are the 4 steps you will follow. But let's see in detail. There are for every step you have a class, one method and one interface you are using. But first step, what is the things you are using? Class we are using, method name, for name method you are using. but there is no interface in the first step. You can see that. Class dot for name. So that means this is the static method in this class. So you are calling that method, but there is no interface here. And the second step, if you see, there is a driver manager class, get connection method, and connection interface. That's why I'm telling interface is a very crucial. You have to be very strong in the interface concept. So connection interface, connection con equal to driver manager dot get connection. So it is getting the connection using this parameter details, and that is returning the connection object to you. This method is returning a connection object. And then you will create a statement on this connection. So then result set. So you get the results, and based on this, so table. So class for name, so driver type, and this one. And this is the, so you have a three types of statements: statement interface, prepared statement interface, callable statement interface. Callable statement interface. And execute query method and the result set for the last step. So these are the different, there is no class for the third step and fourth step. Only, so methods and interfaces only. But you can ask why there is only one interface used, but you are telling a prepared statement to callable statement. When you will use this, what is the difference between these three? So let's discuss on these three statement interfaces. We have three statement interfaces: statement to, prepared statement to, callable statement. We have three statements. So, and here is the execute query, and you will give your execute query SQL queries and a result set interface. So what is a statement and a prepared statement and callable statement? So statement is used to execute very simple SQL queries. Then when you will use a prepared statement? So prepared statement is used when you want to give a parameter input to your SQL queries. A dynamic queries, you will executing the dynamic queries time. You want to give an input, dynamic input, and then you will use a prepared statement. And also when you use a prepared statement, SQL injection attacks can be prevented. So it will escape the special characters, anything. And callable statement. When you can use a callable statement? Callable statement is used to execute the stored procedures. Stored procedure is nothing but a bigger SQL queries. These are simple SQL queries, right? Select star from EMP. But there are a bigger SQL queries will be there. That bigger SQL queries, if you want to execute, you should not use a statement to prepared statement. You have to use a callable statement interface you have to use. So that is the, so this, how to connect to the database. Let's see the full, program. So where this database related package, classes, so interfaces available in which package? So we have in the java.sql package. Java.sql package, you can find it. Okay. So here is the one, see. So I have declared, so one string URL in the main method, string URL, and all the description URL I'm giving. So what is that? JDBC. This is the Oracle, but there are different drivers will be there for different databases. Each database, the driver type will be different. Like you have a Oracle database, SQL Server, SQL, Postgres, MongoDB. There are different databases will be there. Each database, so the URL will be different. So that URL you have to give. Now this is for Oracle. This is not same for all the databases. It will vary. So localhost I given because I am thinking my database is installed on my machine. If not, okay, if it is in different host installed the database and you're using that database here, then you have to give that machine IP address here. And what is the port? What is the SID that is no database name? This is the database name. So that's how you need to get the URL. Then there is a one more way you can give username passwords by creating a properties class object. Properties props equal to new properties class. So in this properties class, we have a set property method, and you can set a user and user value, password and password value. So basically Oracle database, the default username password is a Scott and Tiger. Scott and Tiger. And so I'm setting the setter method you are calling. Setter method, you know, right? About setting. So this is the value, the key and value. Key and value. So the key and value, both are string one. Now see, try catch block I am using. If you are using a database connection, you must use the try catch finally blocks. I already told to close the database connections, we will use finally block. See, let me show you that. See all the try block I used. For first step, load the driver and then connect to the database. Then prepare a statement. Then execute the queries. Now you can while result dot next. So and result dot get string of current day. So you can get the all the values. Then system dot out dot println done. See catch block. So catch, what type of exception you will get? A SQL exception E. So E dot print stack trace and finally block. So con dot close result dot close. Con dot close result dot close. See, we finally block what we are doing. The close method you are calling on the connection object and the result object. So that is what finally block, what it will do, even though if somewhere it failed and you created a resources, but you are so not closing them, what will happen? It will occupy more space, right? If you keep on creating the objects. So to avoid that, you are closing them. Finally block, obviously it will execute, right? Even the failure occurs here. Even the failure occurs in the try block, catch block will execute, then finally block will. That means your connections are closing. Every time you open, no problem. The connections we are closing at the end. So that your objects will be nullified. So that no extra memory will be allocated. So that's the entire code. You can use anywhere this code. So that's the how to connect to the database. Any doubts here?
No, this support.
Yeah, you have to go through this because this is also very important. And so we have only left 3 topics. One is file handling. Tomorrow we can finish. And string handling and collections. Collections is the another highly important topic. String handling is the another mostly in the interviews. They will ask interview questions on the strings only. Okay. So by next week we can finish. Okay, by next week, not next week. Yeah, I think so. By next week we can finish. So this week and next week we can finish.
All right.
Okay. So yeah. So please go through that. Tomorrow you join. So 15 minutes early.
Yes, for abstraction, got it.
Abstraction, and if we get a time also complete the exception handling also. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.